Heidi.
Heidi, what's your last name?
Reeves.
And where do you live, Heidi?
Lebanon.
All right, welcome. Tell me what brings you in today.
Well, I am looking for a new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what I want to be in.
Okay. Are you wanting to run in them? Do you need to work in them? Are you walking?
Running,
Okay.
mostly.
Okay. Are you training for any kind of a race?
I am training for a half.
Very cool. Very cool. Which one are you training for?
Go girl.
Go girl. And so how many months away is that?
A week.
Okay. Great. So tell me a little bit about how much you're running these days.
Oh, I run about 25 to 30 miles a week.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of increases as training gets closer to time.
Mm-hmm.
But basically that's my base,
Okay.
about 25.
What's your long run up to?
I'm up to 12.
Nice. How are you feeling on them?
I get very, very tired during them. Towards the end, I feel like I'm good to go at the beginning and then start wearing down.
What are you eating during your runs?
During nothing.
Okay. When we're done with the shoes, let me take you over to my nutrition area. I'll give you just the basics, and you definitely will want to be taking something in because you'll feel so much better.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Tell me about where you run. Indoors, outdoors, treadmill.
I run outside.
Mm-hmm.
Only on the treadmill if I absolutely have to.
Okay. So are you on roads, chat, trails? Roads? Tell me, are you running with traffic, against traffic, both?
Against traffic.
Okay, most of the time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One thing we want to be aware of, you know how the road's curved? Facing traffic is safe, but it does introduce some asymmetries because your left leg's always lower than your right. So we want to think about ways that we can at least sometimes get on the right side when it's safe, or try to get on some undulating surface such as grass or chat, safe surfaces, because that will keep some asymmetries from developing.
Makes sense?
Okay. Do you wear an orthotic, Heidi?
No.
Great. And what shoe have you been wearing?
I have been wearing the Ultra Torin.
Okay. Very good. So I'm going to look at your wear patterns here. We'll pretend this is her shoe. And so, Heidi, your wear patterns look pretty nice on the shoe, just kind of very neutral down the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out I'm going to feel inside your shoe. And this shoe, how old is this shoe? How many miles do you think you have in your shoe?
Oh, I'd say about 200.
Okay. So what I can feel is that what happens in every shoe when it gets old is the foam will start to collapse, compress, and it usually does it under the highest impact point, and that's usually under your big toe. And when I feel in here, I'm starting to feel a depression under your big toe. It's not terrible, but it's getting there. I would say you still definitely have life in this shoe. You're probably here for a second shoe to alternate with this shoe? Okay, that's a really good idea. So what we're finding is when you alternate two completely different shoes, that lowers your injury risk. So it's a very good thing. I'm happy you're considering that. Very good. The next thing I want to look at your feet, the bottom of your feet for calluses. I like to look at the wear patterns on your shoes as well as on your feet. So can I have your left foot? Wonderful. And I look to see, is it on the inner, on the outer? Do you have calluses where I expect? And everything looks pretty good, pretty normal. Can I see the other one? And also normal. Very good. Thank you. Tell me a little bit about what kind of socks you wear when you run.
Well, I prefer the Injinji toe socks.
Nice. Good. So you're in a sock that wicks sweat.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. And why do you like the toe socks?
Well, because they prevent blisters in between my toes, and I have stacked toes on the edge, so it keeps my toes separated. Yeah,
as you know, probably when babies are born, their toes are kind of spread out, and so a lot of reasons that our toes can come squished together. So you probably like a shoe with a wider toe box because it doesn't squish you as much?
Yes.
Good. So I want to keep that in mind when I pull shoes for you. All right, so let's talk about pain. Is anything hurting you right now when you're running?
Yes. Right there at the base of my metatarsals.
Okay, so like right in the middle, that's painful? Is it ever numb?
No.
Okay, great. How long has that been not great, but how long has it been bugging you for?
Since November.
Okay. And, but just the one side or both sides?
Just one side.
Okay. Any other one-sided pains you've struggled with? Okay, just that left middle of the foot. So there's several things that could be contributing to that kind of a pain. First thing we always want to think about is we're not in too narrow of a shoe, because that narrow shoe can kind of put some pressure on nerves, and that can cause pain. We want to make sure you're using your big toe, so we're probably not going to put you in a shoe with extra support, because that kind of can push you out. And we may even think about a shoe with a flatter shoe, because that could be healthier for that, takes the pressure off the front of your foot. But if it's just on the one foot and not on the other, that means there's a difference between your two sides, and that's not unusual. But we might get some insight into that when I videotape you walking in a little bit. So no problems with your knees, shin splints, heels, all that stuff's good? Great. Okay, so now the exam part of the fitting. The first thing I want to do is just look at your feet. And just a normal assessment. You know, I look for, do you have a narrow foot, a wide foot, high arch, low arch, you know, kind of just everything. Your arches are fairly average compared to the person that comes in here. Can I have your left foot? I'm going to see how flexible it is. Go ahead and relax your foot for me. Okay. And can I have your other one, please? Great. Okay, good. Do you have any pain at the base of those toes?
No.
Okay, good. Go ahead and stand up for me, Heidi. So, when you stand up, your arch really doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't drop much at all. And so you have a stiffer foot than the average female. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just kind of how you are. And there's some advantages of that. It makes you a little faster, a little more efficient. You don't absorb as much impact, as much shock as easily as somebody with a more flexible foot. So there's always pros and cons with everything. Okay, so very good. So you have average arch and a stiffer than average foot. Okay, so next, go ahead and stand on one foot. We're just going to assess your single leg balance. And pretty good. Let's go ahead and switch to the other foot. The reason that I look at this is because running is basically single leg balance. That's very good. If one leg was particularly challenged, or even both, then we might want to work on that, because the knee being a hinge, if you have you don't have very good balance, that knee's going to be all over the place, and that could cause some problems down the road. Now, you weren't great. I wouldn't say you're bad. You weren't great. And I think part of the reason is your big toes. It looks kind of like a pre-bunion, so you don't have great stability here. The toe socks are a good solution for you because they give you a little bit more spread. We might even think about at some point trying a toe spacer for you. And I have one that you can try on, and a lot of people have had a lot of luck. There's nothing you can do once a bunion starts. All you can do is prevent it from getting much, much worse.
Let's do that.
That's one thing we can try. So we'll look at that after
Okay.
when we're trying on shoes. Okay, so very good. Next, I want to assess the flexibility of your calf. So we're just going to face the shoe all together, and I just want to see. All right, go ahead and just do it a few times for me. Good. So I want you to get about a third of the way down, and you got there, so I'm going to call that a pass. Very good. Now the next thing I want to look at is the big toe, the same thing with the big toe. Can you keep the ball foot on the ground and bring that up? Good. And the other one? And so you got about 90 degrees of motion. In order to walk normally, people just have to get 30 degrees. So you easily pass that. That's no problem for you. Very good. Next, go ahead and stand with your feet together. And what I'm looking at here is just the shape of your legs. So your legs are nice and straight. You can see if you compare mine, I have quite a bit of a bow. And that's just, once again, there's an advantage and disadvantage with everything. A little bit more springiness, efficiency out of this, but a little bit more impact. And so yours is kind of just right down the middle, so that's neutral. That's just fine. Next, let's look at, I want to look at your foot. Can you come over on this side of the bench and do this for me, please? I'm looking at your rear foot. And when I look at a foot from behind, what I'm doing is I'm kind of drawing an imaginary line through the middle of your Achilles tendon, and then I'm also drawing an imaginary line from your knee down your calf, and I'm seeing if those lines are in alignment or if they're not. And so sometimes I'll see somebody's foot's turned in, sometimes I see their foot is straight, and rarely I'll see the foot's out. And so if I had to say percentage-wise, about 50% of the time it's turned in, 50% of the time it's straight, and 0.000% of the time it's turned out. So that's pretty rare. And yours is a bit turned in, and there's once again nothing wrong with that. It's just the way you are. How about the other one? And the same. Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. All right, so now I'm going to videotape you on the treadmill. Are you comfortable walking on a treadmill?
Yes.
Okay, great. When I do the video part of this test, people can run or walk. I get really the same quality footage. Do you have a preference? Would you prefer to run or would you prefer to walk?
Run.
Okay, we're going to have you run. So why don't you get on up here? And so we'll hit the green button, and it'll start real slow. I want you to use this plus sign. Let's get you up to a comfortable walking, or a slow jog. And I'm gonna give you about a minute or so to get some blood flowing. And then we'll get you up to speed, and I'll videotape you for about a minute, and then we'll look at your video. Sound okay?
Sounds good.
So on the iPad, we open up the Coach's Eye app, and we're just gonna create a new video, and we'll videotape it from the front, the side, and the rear for about a minute total. So speed is of no concern to me. If this speed feels good to you, we can actually do this speed. Is this still
That's
good?
fine, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna videotape you from shin level straight on. From the same level as well. Okay, that's great. Go ahead and push the stop button for me, Heidi. Alright, let's watch your video now. So the first thing that I'm looking here, as you're running, is are your feet pointed straight or out or in, and are they symmetrical? And appearance from the front, they both look pretty straight. The rear view will confirm that, so we'll re-look at that at the end again. So, but they look pretty straight and they look pretty symmetrical. The next thing that I look at is, are your feet landing under your knees? And I'd like ideally the knees and the feet to be stacked. That's good alignment. You're going to absorb forces, absorb shock the best if they're stacked like that. I don't want to see both feet landing on a line down the middle. We call that crossing over, and that can cause problems down the road. And you don't have a problem with that, so good job. Next, we're going to look at you from the side. So from the side, this gives me an idea of your foot strike. Now, people are going to run slightly differently without shoes than they are with shoes, and that's okay. They're going to tend to run less on their heel without shoes than with shoes. And so, but what I can take away from this is if you land pretty heavy on your heels and pretty far in front of your body with bare feet on, then I know you do it with shoes on. And to tell you the truth, I don't care if you land on your heel or your toe. There's no difference in injury rates or speed or anything like that. I really just care if your foot is landing close to your body. I don't want your foot landing far, far out front. And so you're landing slightly on your heel first. There's no problem with that. And you're landing fairly close to your body. Your leg is bent when you're landing, so I have no problem with the foot strike that I'm seeing here. Good job.
Thank you.
If you ever were worried about your foot strike, if you're landing close enough to your body, one thing you could do is when you're running outside, count how many times one foot touches the ground in a minute. If you're in the 90-ish range, there's no way you're overstriding. You're doing just fine. 90 isn't a magic number, but if you're close to that, then you're doing just fine. Okay, so let's go to the rear view now. The rear view is nice once again because we can confirm the if your feet are both pointing straight ahead, and if they're even, and once again everything looks nice and straight, and they look symmetrical, and so your stride looks really nice. I don't see any major problems here. I don't see anything that gives me a clear indication of why you're having that left kind of middle of the forefoot pain, because there's nothing real different about your stride on here. Maybe the only thing that might kind of come into play is possibly has something to do with the pre-bunions I talked about on both toes. The pre-bunion's a little worse on the right, so you could be favoring it on the left in some way. It's really hard to tell. We're not doctors here, but everything was really good. So now let's go to the shoe wall. I want to bring this all together, and that's going to help us figure out what to pull for you. Are you interested in the gait analysis video? Because I can email that to you from my iPad.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, so when we're done pulling shoes, we'll definitely email that to you. Okay, so now let's look at my shoe wall. As you can see, I have my shoes organized into columns, and each column has a sign at the top describing that type of shoe. So if we start at the outer edge of the wall, I have got track shoes for kids in high school, and so that's outside of our purview right now. The next category of shoes are called trail shoes, and those are for off-road, and we're not doing any off-road running right now, so we're going to eliminate those from our purview as well. The next category of shoes, and I have 2 columns worth, are called stability shoes. And what makes these shoes special is just like every shoe on the wall, they have soft cushioning foam. But in addition to the soft cushioning foam, they have a firm foam, and it's just under the inside of the heel. And that gives some extra support, and it changes how forces are absorbed on your body. And there are some types of pain that this is really good for, and some types of pain that this isn't good for. If we contrast this shoe with the next category of shoes, and I have 3 columns worth. These are called neutral or cushioning shoes. To contrast this shoe with this shoe, it's actually pretty easy. This just has the soft cushy everywhere all along. So the only difference is the first category has that extra stiff piece just under the inside of the heel. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Now let's look at our last category of shoe, and these are called lightweight shoes. They're called lightweight shoes because they're lightweight. And the way they accomplish that, they cut a wedge of foam out underneath the heel. And so the shoe, not only is it lighter, it's flatter. And just like we talked about with that stability piece, certain types of injuries do better with a flatter shoe. And the types of injuries that do better with a flatter shoe are, say, forefoot pain like yours. Some types of back and knee pain do better with a flatter shoe and a lighter shoe. Whereas the shoes with a higher heel, you tend to do better, and more cushioning does better with Achilles and calf and bottom of the foot, like plantar fasciitis type pain. So does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the type of pain that you have is a little bit of a forefoot pain. The shoe you're in is a zero drop shoe, the Ultra Torin. And so what I generally like to do is I don't like to alternate the exact same shoe. We want different shoes because it's different forces on your body. So what I would suggest is let's get something that's not a zero drop shoe. Let's make sure we're in something that has a wide enough toe box for you. It can be on the flat side, but let's not do zero. So that gives us quite a bit to play with here. We're going to eliminate the stability shoes from our consideration because you don't have any types of pain that this shoe generally addresses well. And those types of pain are like plantar fasciitis, kind of arch pain, and inside of the knee pain, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to probably play in the lightweight category. And I do have a couple shoes in my neutral category with a bit more cushioning that are on the flat side 4 to 6 millimeter range. And so what I'm going to pull for you is probably going to be something along these lines. Once again, because I want more cushioning, so I'm going to avoid anything real light for you and real flat. And we're going to go from there. So from when I pull these shoes out, and you're going to try them on, all I want you to think about is what feels good on your foot. Because if I put on a shoe for you and I say this is the best shoe for you, based on everything you told me, and you put it on and it rubs your arch, it's not the best shoe for you, right? So whether you buy from us, somewhere else in the future, always want you to just comfort as your #1 consideration. So next I need to measure your foot. So let's use my trusty Bionic device. Let's use your right foot on there first for me, please. Heels all the way back. Good. And what size shoe do you typically wear, Heidi?
9.5.
Okay, good. And that correlates to what I'm measuring here. I see your toe measures about a 9, so getting a little space for swelling, a 9.5. Let's measure the other foot.
Oh, in running shoes, I'm in 10.
Okay.
Typically. And
running longer distances, it's not uncommon for people to go an extra half size for the added swelling. So I was going to start you at a 9.5 and probably put you in 10 and see what you like the best. So knowing that you're in a 10, that's probably where we're just going to start anyway for you. All right, and as far as width, you're fairly average, and so we don't have to bring out a shoe that's particularly wide. We just want to make sure nothing's squishing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you try on my try-on socks here. These are really good. I know you've got Injinjis. This is a new one that came out. This is the wool. and it's super comfy. I use it. It's actually better all year long than the regular. Does that sound good?
All year?
Yeah.
All year. Okay.
Yeah, because in the summertime, wool does the best at keeping you dry. So in the summer, you want to stay dry so you don't blister. In the winter, you want to stay dry so you don't get cold. And so it's thin enough that it's not going to overheat you in the summer, and it'll be your best choice all year long.
Right.
All right. So let me grab that first shoe for you. Go ahead and keep it rolling, Cal.
Okay.
How old are your, like how many miles do you typically get out of a shoe?
Oh, 300-400.
300-400? And so how long does that end up lasting you? 6 months?
Probably usually less than 6 months.
Okay, good. A lot of times, people that are newer to running, you don't seem to be a more new to running, you're kind of trained for halves and things like that. They'll try to, use them for a year or more. And we always want to think of shoes kind of like a bra. We don't want our shoes to have a birthday. We don't want our bra to have a birthday because they both wear out and you don't get the support that you want. When you need your next bra, the Moving Comfort are the best selling in the running industry. And I'll show you the one that all of my staff like the best. And so when you need your next one, it's really nice. All right. So the advantages of this shoe over the one that you're wearing currently, this is going to be quite a bit more cushioning. And so for you on your long runs, you're going to feel like you're not getting quite as beat up. Our offset or our drop on this shoe, you're used to a 0 drop. This is not very much higher. This is about a 4.5 millimeter drop. So this is still going to be flatter, keep some pressure off your forefoot. And go ahead and wiggle your foot for me. Okay. Does that feel close to what you normally wear? Does that feel small?
Actually, it feels pretty good.
Okay.
Feels pretty close.
All right, so I'm going to have you walk around a little bit. And just want to pay attention. Is anything rubbing, slipping, anything like that?
No, the height on them feels odd.
Because you're not used to that thick of a shoe? Okay. Go ahead and let's go ahead and take one off.
These were the ones I liked earlier.
On the trail.
How many minutes are we go?
We're at almost 23.
Okay, let's put this on your left foot.
I'll just put on there, not recommended on Saturdays.
This one feels big.
Too big?
Well, I mean, it feels looser back here.
Okay. So you can already tell, is that something that you can already tell probably isn't going to work for you?
Yeah.
We'll have you take a step in it, and then if so, we'll just have you take it right back off.
Well, I don't know. It feels kind of nice up front.
Okay.
But it is a little loose in the back. So yeah.
We have a lacing trick, a heel lock that can oftentimes fix a slippy heel. As long as it feels great everywhere else, then we can try it. If it's not great everywhere else, then we can just pass.
Oh, we'll pass.
Okay. So this is another shoe from Hoka. Hoka has the thicker outsole, the thicker midsole. It's their lighter version, and it might not feel quite so unusual compared to what you're used to. I noticed you're wearing the Garmin Vivo Active. Is that brand new, or is it?
It is.
That is the newest and best one that I've seen. How many times have you used it?
Oh, 2 or 3.
Okay. How'd you?
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Still learning.
Nice. Do you listen to music when you run, or?
Yes.
Nice, me too. How do you carry your phone? Armband?
Armband.
Nice.
That way if I don't have my headphones.
Yeah.
Just a passing noise.
Yeah.
This one feels. Are they different sizes?
No, but certain models run slightly different. The one on your right foot runs a little big. Does that one feel too small on the left, maybe?
No.
Okay.
It feels.
Does it feel big?
A little bit.
Okay.
But
So I can definitely bring a half size small. Should we bring a half size smaller?
Yeah.
Okay. While I'm doing that, why don't you try on this one? That's usually a good sign when something feels really, really good just right off the bat.
Yeah, I like that. It's nice and wide up here, and it still feels like it fits really well back there too.
Do you like that one a little bit better than the one on the right?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take the one on the right off then. And let's put on the half size smaller in the lighter weight Clifton, lighter weight Hoka. So I think we're getting closer. We're narrowing it down.
This feels better than the.
Okay, good.
But I'm still liking this one.
Yeah, so you love the fit of that, sounds
Yeah,
like.
I like the topo.
Now, so the difference, you're also going to find the difference in cushioning. You have more cushion on the one on the right than the left. Do you feel like you have adequate cushion in the one on the left?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's put that one on both feet. Do you do most of your running alone, or do you run with friends, or?
Well, I do my short runs alone, but I have to have friends to do long runs, or it's excruciating.
Yeah. We have a training group for our Go Girl half marathon. So next year, if you need a group of people to train with,
Do they do short runs too?
we do. Might be fun for you.
Yay!
Is that the one?
Yep.
Okay, that's the Topo Flylight. I'm wearing that shoe as well. I like it a whole lot. It's great because it's going to give you a little bit. It has a 3mm offset. Like like your Ultra has a wide toe box, which is good for that forefoot pain. It's going to keep you a little bit more pain off the front of the foot by keeping you flatter, but it is having a little bit of a drop that's going to be a good change from what you're used to. Cool. This shoe comes in a couple different colors, and I always like to give people the option. Do you like the blue better, or do you like the green better?
Green.
Okay, so we're going to get you the green, and now let's go talk about nutrition.
Okay.